KZ4B testing.
Well, CQ, the old friends net. This is N4LQ calling CQ, the old friends net. The old friends net is an amplitude modulation net. We meet here every Sunday at 4 p.m. on 3715 kilocycles, and Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. on the same frequency. Everybody is welcome to check in if you can generate an AM signal. We operate in the round table fashion, so those wishing to check in, call now.
Good afternoon, Steve, WA4LLR.
WB4ARK.
KZ4 Bravo.
WB4NKL.
M4IYQ.
K4JAL.
KG4IUQ.
WN4PFI.
Okay, I may have missed somebody. Let's see here. I got, first of all, WA4LLR, WB4ARK, KZ4B, WF2U, WB4NKL, N4IYQ, K4JAL, KG4IUQ, and WN4PFI. Do we have any more check-ins or anybody I missed?
This is K1VVC.
All right, K1BBC. Anybody else? W4MEC, I hear you back in the background there. Sound a little peony this afternoon. I don't know, maybe it's just the conditions. Anybody else? Alright, that's it. So, John, BBC turns it over to Charlie, and then back to me again. Alright, well, it's 53. It was 62 degrees at its peak here, and I've been carrying junk up out of the basement and throwing it in the garbage can, trying to clean up a little bit around here. And the sky is a beautiful shade of blue, and I think we got some rain and snow and stuff coming in for the mid part of the week. But just saw my son up there in Indiana. He's got several inches of snow, and he said it's going to be 7 below zero tonight. So we got a good thing going down here. I'm happy with it. It's been a bit blustery, a little bit windy. I'm running the AF-67, the HQ-140, driving the AL-811H with a bunch of 572Bs in it, cranking out about 200 watts to the horizontal loop antenna, D-roll for a mic, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ and your friends, WA4LLR. Good afternoon to everybody on the net. Got my horrible noise source going today, but everybody's coming through it fine. Running the RT13 and the R398. We started the day at about 50 degrees this morning. When the front came through around 5:30, 6 o'clock, we got about almost an inch of rain, 0.97. And then, of course, the wind came. Currently, it's 33 degrees and snow showers. So, we'd like to see that blue sky you're talking about, Steve. But, anyway, hopefully it won't amount to too much. The big snow is supposed to be about Wednesday, I believe. So those are the conditions that prevail up here in the eastern jungles of Yancey County. So, buddy, down to you. WB4ARK, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, WB4ARK. Okay, Dave. First off, I wonder if you've heard anything about Norm, his condition. I haven't heard anything from you in the last, I don't know, couple of weeks. So just wondering about that. And we're running the ART13, receiving on the ARR15 R105 receiver. And it must not be doing too good today because everybody's signal is up toward Burnsville. Charlie, I didn't even hear him, is pretty weak. And your signal is not all that strong, Dave. So wonder what's going on. Either my receiver's not doing quite as good as it should, as good as the R390. But anyhow, we'll see in the next round or two if things pick up. So with that, I guess we'll say turn it over to KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK in the group. This is KZ4B, fine business, buddy. I concur with you. Conditions are off a little bit. I haven't missed everybody's Cat 5, but there's some QS Baker and Steve and Dave are slightly weaker than they normally are. Normally they just blow my receiver right off the table. Not so today. but I would imagine conditions will improve as the day wears on. This is Handle John. I'm on the east side of Lake Norman and running the usual T150, driving a Maritron AL82, and it's feeding a resonant dipole, no antenna tuner involved, and is it hard enough here? I think so. Anyway, the wind has just been howling here all day long. If it blows a little bit in town, it's a hurricane out here on the lake, and it's been that way pretty much all day long. I had a huge limb to fall, but it missed all the antennas that seemed to be right below it. So I got lucky there as far as I know. I may go out and see that I missed something, but hopefully not. And Steve, I had asked you a question at the end of Thursday's session, and that was, did you end up getting the septic tank company to install a plastic corrugated pipe to make it cheaper and easier to access your septic tank, or were they so insanely expensive you couldn't afford to do that? You might share that with me, and or us for that matter. So we've been back in the garage. We are now at the transmitter and trying to see what we can do to get that back on the air. We wasted a whole day yesterday messing with a surplus meter that it took me a whole day to figure out that it was incurably bad, and I need another meter. It's heart failure. It's a what is it? 250. I think it's a 257, and it's an analog surplus meter. It's beautiful, looks like new, but it has a 10-turn pot that went south, and it's an open heart surgery to replace it, even if I had the pot. So, on that note, and with that tier, I will pass it on over to Mir. No, I make a rhyme every time. WF2U in the group, KZ 4B over.
KZ4B and the net, this is WF2U. Good afternoon, everybody. Signals are still here, and the noise level is very, very low, so nice copy without any exceptions. The temperature here is 59 degrees. We had gusts of 20 miles an hour according to my weather digital weather station right out here by the house. And total rain for the event was 1.5 inches. It's nice and sunny now. Just a little breeze. Running the AN GRC-19 setup, which consists of the T195 transmitter and the R392 receiver. The transmitter is auto-tuned, so I don't have to use any antenna tuners. Putting out a 100-watt carrier, and it's all plate and screen modulated. Running the whole shebang from its proper 28-volt DC. And currently with audio peaks, it's taking about 45 amps. at 28 volts. So, and the antenna is the headset halfway for 80 meters. By the way, the microphone is the original system microphone, which is the M29 Bravo carbon microphone. So with that, it goes to Cliff. WB4 NKL, this is WF2U.
WF2U, it's WB4 NKL, K-Mir. Good copy all the way around. Charlie was a little weak for some reason, but the rest of the signals are pretty solid. It started out here at 52 degrees this morning, and high winds and rain, and down to 36 here now. Running the BC 610, first time out, so I might ask for some reports on it, but really hadn't had too much time to check it out. Just it's on a crystal, so it's pretty close on frequency, but hadn't done much more with it. So send it on around. Go ahead, Chuck. N4 IYQ WB4 NKL.
Okay, WB4 NKL neighbor N4 IYQ. Well, I tell you, it's 38 here with wind chill of 19. Winds have been horrendous today, on and off. I think the highest gust we had was about 35, 36, and you could certainly hear it slapping up against the side of the house, but no damage. Daughter sent me a picture. Her next door neighbor had a tree go over, and she was trying to get over there and tell him it was getting ready to hit the house. She tripped out in the street and stoved her shoulder up, and the tree's laying on the neighbor's house, and the neighbor's spending the night with her. They got some damage. Looks like they said the power board came out, trimmed some trees and around, or trimmed some branches and turned the power back on, but no power in a couple of bedrooms that's got damaged. So hope nobody else got hurt. And yes, would like to hear about Norm, and like to hear about Don, N4YN, Jimmy. Might give us an update on him. A little bit different weather here than it was last week in Orlando. K4JAL to pick it up and take it. We're on the multi-Elmac with the PMR8 and the SB221. N4IYQ.
N4IYQ, K4JAL. Well, that's a good sounding rig, Chuck. This is K4JAL, if I didn't say that. I'm on the ART-13 with the D104 amplified, going through a MFJ Versa tuner to M5 read, about 110 watts, I reckon. Trying to listen on this stupid SDR. If you can hear somebody on this thing, it's 40 over according to the meter. But signals are good. Charlie is weak, as said before. I tried to go over to Don's early this morning, and telephone wires down on his road, and I didn't want to crush him, so I got back over there later in the day, and he was fine. Looking forward to Uncle Dave bringing him a meal from the church. So Don survived. He got home Friday night, and Saturday morning I went over to check on him and had to take him to Smokies. So he's back to normal, I guess. Anyway, that's about the story from up here in Burnsville. It's 33 degrees and 90% humidity and snow in the forecast. KG4IUQ, Mr. Mark, K4JAL, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. This is Mark, KG4IUQ in Shelby. Well, it rained a lot last night here, and the wind been blowing past few hours. I'm on the multi-Elmac AF-68. I'm using a PMR8 receiver. I have a Shure 444T microphone, and I'm using a half-wave dipole. I'm probably putting out about 500 watts with a Ameritron AL811H amplifier. Steve, N4LQ, you sound good, very good. and you're saying it might snow pretty soon. I hope so, because my workplace has been working me too much, really, and I'm ready for some snow or something to get me out of it. Okay, Dave, WA4LLR. You're lighter than normal in here. Your signal's lighter. The ART13 sounds good. You say it's snowing. Buddy, WB4ARK with the ART13 sounds good. John, KZ4 Bravo, good sound on the east side of Lake Norman. And WF2U Mayor with the ANGRC19 with the M29 Bravo carbon microphone. It sounds good here. Cliff, WB4NKL. Very, very good sound here from your VC610. It's really, really good. Real strong and sounds really good. I'd have to say it's very, very good. Chuck, N4IYQ, you sound very good. Jimmy, K4JAL with the ART13, sounds good. And Barnesville. I'm going to turn it over to Doak, WN4PFI. This is KG4IUQ.
KG4IUQ, Mark. This is Doak, WN4PFI in Suches. I'm on the Ranger today, only about 40 watts. So let me know if everybody's copying. I can change rigs if not, if this is not decent enough. Ranger 2 at 40 watts, and I'm listening on National 173. It is 29 degrees here. Wind chill, I've just checked, is at 19 degrees. And winds gusting up to 33 miles per hour. So, one of those other turkey shows my brother used to watch. I had that bear on it. I had a friend named Neil, and he would always tell him, so that's what it is here in OD is K1 BBC. And by the way, I'm copying everybody great, man. No problems with anyone. Everyone's got very good signals. John, K1 BBC, WN4PFI.
Yeah, very good. WN4PFI, K1 BBC. Yeah, I'm copying everybody fine here. Signals are good. No background noise at all. Well, the temperature here is a little different. Weather Service says it's 59 degrees out, so it's a little bit warmer than where everybody else is. And I think it got up to about 64 degrees. It's a little bit windy. We had heavy rain and thunderstorm come through about 6, 7 o'clock this morning. But it's going to be cold, and they say we have a chance of some snow on Wednesday. So I hope not. I could do away with that. We have some plans to go out to dinner with some friends and on Wednesday evening, so hopefully the weather will be okay. I'm running the Collins 32V2 and receiving on the 75A1 receiver to my 80 meter end fed, which seems to be doing fine, I guess. At least I'm hearing everybody. No real comments on any of the signals. As long as I can understand everybody, I'm happy. And I wonder who's planning on going up to Dalton next weekend. It's going to be typical bitter cold weather up there from what I've seen. Cliff, I assume you're planning on going, and I don't know if you're going, Doug. So with that, over to you, Charlie. How are you? W4MEC, K1VVC.
Okay, John, let me make an adjustment here, K1VVC. and the group, W4MEC. Here we go, hold on. Well, there was a definite reason. Getting closer. Getting closer here. I'm tuning the tuner here. For a minimum SWR. There we go. Absolute zero. What is that? Minus 273 degrees? Anyway. Did I say W4MEC? Yeah. Well, the reason I wasn't very loud was that I was transmitting into a balanced line for about 60 feet. And then in my inside shack, I missed the banana jacks where I only plugged in one. So then it became about, with the feed line, about 120 foot single wire or so. You didn't hear me, so this should make a difference. Balanced as we can be. Well, we had the storm last night. It's about 42 degrees. It was about 3 this morning. And the rain gauge, 4.25 inches in the rain gauge since the rain started here. About 5:30 this morning, I would have thought 3 trees fell on my house. We had a thunderclap. There wasn't any flash, but that must have rolled for 15 seconds. It shook the windows on the walls, it shook the foundation of the house, and I would have swore something fell on the house. And I went outside and looked and didn't see a thing, so I said, thank you, Jesus, and then went back to bed. And while I was sitting there trying to fall back to sleep, I heard another very faint sound of thunder. But that was the only 2 thunderclaps I had heard since this started. Yesterday when the rain started. But that one at 5:30 was a monster. I don't know what it hit, but it let me know it was out there. So anyway, we're running the ART-13. I guess you can hear that. D104 mic with the gain set to 0, and showing about 100 watts out. Monitoring on a James Millen scope that I got from Buddy. And last but not least, a homebrew frequency counter that says about 200 cycles high. Back to Steve, N4LQ in the group, W4MEC.
All right, W4MEC and the wonderful group, this is N4LQ. Do we have anybody else that would like to join us? Call now. All right, well, Charlie, I think you're a little stronger than you were last time. Still not real strong, but there is definitely some ionospheric conditions turn off both the antennas from the rigs, and then I've got a knife switch up here on the wall, and I haven't finished the job yet. I've got to rig up the way to ground both the antennas and not just one, so I took my choice. I decided to ground the inverted V for 160 instead of the loop. Well, I think the loop is more attractive to lightning for whatever reason. It surprised me a few times. So I was sitting here and I heard the awfulest crackle, snap, and pop. Or is it snap, crackle, and pop? Anyway, it was loud and it didn't hurt anything, but so I flipped the switch up to the loop and kept it grounded, but it didn't last too long. It went away. So, let's see, and Mark, hope you can get some snow so you can take off some time from work there. So, all right, everybody sounded good. Now that's my story, and I'm turning it over to Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WA4LLR. All right, good copy on everybody, even with the horrendous noise I've got up here. The limiter on this R390A is working pretty good. Let's see, buddy, you asked about Norm. Well, not great news. I'll give you the last communication from Rita. It says he's home under hospice care. Hospice comes out 2 days a week, and of course is on call as needed. I'm taking care of his daily needs, and it's not too hard a task since he just wants to sleep all the time. Still not eating enough to keep a bird alive, and he's pretty much bedridden. So that's the latest I have on Norm. So please be praying for Rita and Norm. Kind of a rough ride. Let's see. Yeah, John, we got some high wind up here, buddy. It was really howling a little earlier. It's still doing it sporadically. And Mir, that carbon mic, for a carbon mic, that thing sounds good. And Cliff, the audio, I agree with Steve. The audio on that BC610 sounds wonderful. Chuck, sorry to hear about the tree on the neighbor's house, and I think you said your daughter fell and jammed up her shoulder. Sorry to hear about that. Jimmy, glad that Don made the pilgrimage to Smokies. Man, he's going to make it now for sure. Everybody's sounding good, and Charlie, you're sounding stronger here since you got balanced. Oh me. But yeah, it's been snowing pretty steadily for a couple of hours up here. It's not doing anything in the way of accumulating. It's just real fine snow, and it's so windy that it's blowing away. But just barely can see across the valley. So be interesting to see what we get. Thunderstorm wasn't too bad here. I only heard a couple of rumbles. Nothing close, but boy, we had torrential rain for a period of time. Space weather, and nothing in it that should account for weird propagation. Sunspot number's 153, solar flux index is 184, and the K is 2.67. I think it's got more to do with the wind and precipitation from where we are, but I could be wrong. Some interesting items from this day in history. On this day in 1959, Fidel Castro seized power in Cuba. On this day in 2005, the Kyoto Protocol went into effect. This is kind of interesting. On this day in 1957, the British TV broadcasting BBC ended a post-war policy of no programming between 6 and 7 at night, which was known as the Toddler's Truce, a break designed to help parents put children to bed. On this day in 1949, the first Knesset, the Israeli parliament, met in Jerusalem. On this day in 1945, American paratroopers landed on Corregidor in the Philippines. On this day in 1937, DuPont patented nylon. And on this day in 1923, the burial chamber of King Tutankhamun was unsealed by British archaeologist Howard Carter. So there's a few things from this day in history. Down to you, buddy. WB4ARK, WA4LLR.
WB4LLR, WB4ARK. Okay, Dave, well, looks like I'm about 500 cycles high. It's come down about 100 cycles since I first turned it on. Well, regarding the weather, well, let me say this about Charlie's signal. When you first keyed up this last round, I didn't hear you talking. You were gone. And as you changed the tuning, your volume came up, and you were up to normal when you finished. It made a big difference. So anyhow, our weather, it did not start raining here until about just a little bit after 7. So I'm going to call it 0 precipitation at 7 o'clock. So, and then I got up a little before 7. I was in the kitchen doing the coffee and got that finished. And I heard a lightning strike. I mean, it was a big one. And it was down towards my son's house, south of here. And so about 2 seconds after that lightning flash, I heard the telltale sign of a dropout of our power grid. And that was maybe 1 to 2 seconds after that flash of lightning. And then I heard the thunder. I mean, it was a huge rolling blast of thunder. And I got to wondering, that must have hit the entire power grid. And for it to have taken that long for it to show up at our house, that was kind of interesting. But I called my son later in the morning, maybe about 9 o'clock, and I asked him if he had a power glitch about that time. He said yes. And I said, was it a huge blast of thunder associated with it? Yes. And did you have a power glitch? Yes. So he experienced the same power glitch that we did, so it must have been a complete area-wide power glitch. That's all I can say. But it was 66 degrees about noon, and it started out just about 60 at 7 o'clock. It started last night. It was 41 degrees at maybe 9 o'clock. And it had reached 60 degrees by 7 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, that was the weather conditions here this morning. It really was an interesting situation. So let's see what else we got. Thanks, Dave, if I didn't say this, for the report on North. And sorry to hear his condition hasn't improved any. So I I wonder how you're keeping in touch with Rita. Butch Gibbons has been trying to call her and got her on the phone one time, but she said she couldn't talk right then. She hung up the phone and he hasn't been able to get back in touch with her. So anyhow, that's the situation there. Well, I think that's about it. Your transmitter, the BC610 Cliff, sounds excellent. It's really got a very good sound to it, and glad you got that thing on the air as quick as you did. I wonder what kind of condition it's in, and Mir, your mic sounds very good. I must admit that that mic sounds almost as good as a D104. It has good highs to it, and it sounds excellent. So you've got a good one there. Hold on to it. Well, over to KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK in the group KZ4B, fine business, buddy. You're coming in quite nicely here. And Cliff, you win the prize for the strongest signal of the BC610. And like Steve says, it sounds like broadcast quality. It really is doing a great job. I wonder if the audio chain is totally stock or if you tricked it out in any way. You might comment on that. And Steve, shifting gears, when I put in my septic tank and drain line about 20 years ago, I guess really 25 years ago now, I put in a backup drain line with a huge ball valve that was as deep as the top of the septic tank, actually a little deeper. And it's so deep that I've never been able to find it. So I've got a backup drain line, but I don't have any way to use it. It's so far down that I've never been able to dig down enough to find that valve, because I'm on the drain line that I started out with 25 years ago or so. And Steve, I understand. You do not want to pay the tariff. Most city water systems, they take your water bill and double it for the sewer rate. So, you know, that can get, if you have a crazy high water bill, you can really get nailed when you've got a city sewer. That is for sure. And Mir, the carbon mic does sound quite good, and for whatever that's worth. So, on to you, Mir. WF2U in the group, KZ4 Bravo, over.
Roger, KZ4B and the group, this is WF2U. Well, thanks for the reports. And I got a couple of these M29Bs, new old stock, several years ago. It's going on actually 25 years ago. When I acquired several GRC-19 systems, surplus. Some of them were direct refurbished in the original box directly from the what was it in Pennsylvania, big depot in Pennsylvania, Indiana. With all the paperwork and everything. So, one of them even came with all the accessories, the noise canceling headset, find a couple of more. And these actually don't have a good reputation not because of the quality, but they have the tendency of breaking off the microphone. It's a snap-in, same element as they use in the headset with the mic boom. A certain type of headset with a mic boom with the same microphone element, and it snaps into like a socket, and it has the reputation of breaking off when it's handled roughly, like on the field or something. But of course, here it gets a completely different treatment. And I'm really kind of making sure that it does not fall, does not get any impacts or anything. So now holding out. And yeah, I have no complaints about the quality. The reason I'm not trying the telex mic instead of this is that I don't feel like using an adapter because these mics that I have, this version, have the UG-77 type audio connectors. That's like, I think it's 6 or so 5 or 6 contacts flat, and it's one of those big 1950s type GRC series audio connectors. I don't feel like changing it or even building an adapter, so I haven't tried to use the dynamic mic substitute with the circuitry to make it compatible with the carbon mic. Anyway, it's a pair. The transmitter, the T195 is the whole system is Collins. It's totally auto-tuned, and I can memorize channels up to 10 channels. And preset them, and then just select those, and that's how I'm using it. This is this frequency is set up on mine as channel 2, and channel 3 is 3885. Channel 1 is the 160 meter net when we used to use AM sometimes. And so that's the story. I'm still working on the TBS-50C. It has a problem that after it warms up, the power drops out. I think it's some capacitors that are heating up and starting to leak. I haven't had time to work on it yet, but I'm going to also make a little modification because it's an original the way it's built originally. The plate choke is fed after the tank circuit, just before the antenna, and then the blocking capacitor just before the antenna. I'm going to move the high voltage connection to the more common configuration of having the blocking capacitor right on the plate connection of the 807, and then the RF choke that feeds the high voltage. I mean, before that, the RF choke that feeds the voltage. And out of the blocking cap, it goes to the tank circuit and another RF choke, which they in this case, they don't have 2 RF chokes, and another RF choke just before, just parallel with the antenna, just in case you get a short in the blocking cap, so the high voltage will get to the antenna. Anyway, so that's what I'm working on with the TBS-50. And then I'll put it on the air when it's working in a stable manner. So, with that, it goes to Cliff. WB4NKL, this is WFC.
WF2U, it's WB4NKL. Okay, I'm here. Good copy. And thanks for the reports on the BC610. This is a E model I got from Brian. It was built in 1944. And it was missing the plate transformer, which Chuck picked up for me from Mac down in Georgia, W4AX. Chuck had a fun trip picking that up. But I mostly had to replace I had to take it completely apart to get the transformer in it, and then I had to replace all the high voltage wiring was brittle. And the filter caps in the modulator section. And the BC614 speech amp, about every resistor and every capacitor in it's been replaced. It was kind of rough. And running D104 on it here, power D104. So that's the setup. It's I've got it coupling back down, Steve. I'm running about 350 watts of carrier. Maybe 375. Leaves crap up a little bit. But seems to be doing okay. Not used to seeing those 250 TH. You know, it's pretty orange. Don't look right, but I think that's pretty normal for them. We'll see anyway. Send it on around. See, I hate to hear a Norm situation, Dave, and hope he hope Rita does all right with it. So send it on to Chuck, N4IYQ, WB4NKL.
Okay, WB4NKL and the old friends N4IYQ will find visits on everything around. I had a phone call, so I'm sure I missed a lot. And Cliff, I'm probably going to have to take some medication after my radio about jumped off the shelf up here when you first keyed on the BC610. And Cliff's checking into his liability insurance, see if it'll cover my hernia for Mac and I having to lift that transformer into the back of the car when I was down at a after Christmas get-together with another AM group that I chat with down in Georgia. And but he does fine work. I knew he'd have it on the air pretty quickly. Yes, sorry to hear about Norm. I actually passed what little info I knew about Norm to a guy who used to work with him. The guy is Tom Gorman. He's Ham, and he's up in New Jersey now, and he used to work with Norm at North Electric out in Gray, Tennessee. And I've already gotten a reply back with him. I'm going to share Norm's number with him. He knows Rita also, and said he tried to make a connection with him when he was traveling through Tennessee at one point in time. Evidently has been doing some work for FEMA. And glad to hear that Don N4YN's doing well. If he was ready to go to Smokies, he's healing. Glad to hear that, Jimmy, and appreciate you and David. Look after him. I'll make this my last one, and certainly it's good to catch up with everybody a little bit. I guess we're looking forward to Dalton next Saturday, but it's going to be like 19 or 20 degrees, so trying to figure how many layers I can put on and still be able to walk through the boneyard. So on to you, Jimmy. K4JAL, N4IYQ.
N4IYQ, K4JAL, 73 to you. Chuck, you shouldn't be so hard on Cliff. You depend on him more than he does you. Now, that's all I got to say. We don't have any snow down here yet, Dave, and I hope we don't get it. Ellen's got to go to Asheville tomorrow, and I'll drive her if it snows. For my peace of mind, she can drive as good as I can. Mark, you had a fine signal with that 40 watts over here at my house. I don't know how far it is from Suches to Burnsville, but you're doing good. And I've learned so much about Pookie systems on this network that I'm really fixed up if I ever get a septic tank. I guess we do that because we're all old and that preoccupies old people. I guess I'll sign off too. Might as well. KG4IU10, K4JAL.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. This is Mark, KG4IUQ. I don't really know, but I believe you might have been carrying dope with 40 watts. There, I'm running about 500 or something like that, if you were talking about what I'm doing here. But you're sounding good from Burnsville, Jimmy. The microphone for my ear, the carbon microphone sounds good here. And again, I'll say the Cliff's BC610 E model sounds really great. I mean, it reminds me of LLR Dave. I think he sometimes uses a BC610, and it sounds really good. Doak, WN4PFI with the 40 watts, you sound good. And K1VVC, John, you sound good here. With the Collins 32V2 and the 75A1 receiver. And Charlie, W4MEC with the ART13 and the D104 set at 0. Sounds very good. I went to church today and had a nice time. It's just something that I feel good about doing because I work so much when I get a little bit of time. I go to church and play a little music, be around some people. It's like a little vacation. I'm going to turn it over now to Doak, WN4PFI. This is KG4IUQ.
KG4IUQ, Mark, WN4PFI and such. It's okay. Very good. Good copy still on everyone. I am planning on going to Dalton. My wife and I will be there, provided the weather is okay. We're supposed to get about 5 inches of snow here on Wednesday, and they're claiming, the weather people claiming, an inch of that's going to be ice. If I can get out, I have a very long driveway. If we can get out of the driveway, we will try to be there. And yeah, it's supposed to be cold again. I've got another 100 cards, QSL cards for DX6C to add to the total I already have, and hoping there's a ARRL card checker there. I forgot who it was talking about the, Steve, maybe you about the lightning and maybe someone else. I had a friend, ham friend down in Loganville many years ago, K4VTP, Victor Tango Papa. He used to take his coax loose and stick it in a bottle, any kind of brass bottle or, I don't know. And I told him I had seen, on loose coax, I'd seen sparks come off 1/2 inches long. I said, I don't know what it would do. I'm assuming it would rupture or burst that bottle, but he said it wouldn't. He said it would just bounce around and dissipate, but I never tried it. My uncle always unhooked his antennas, but he got to his rake one time and got, I guess it was static buildup, I'm not sure. Knocked him out, knocked him across his room. I always unhook mine. I'm scared to death of what that's going to do to the house or do to my equipment. I want this to be my last. I've got some stew upstairs to go eat with my wife, and she's made some peach cobbler. So I need to go enjoy that before. Thank you for calling the net, Steve. I will listen on to the end and back around to the beginning. Thanks for letting me be a part. And over at Dalton, I'll have my name card on. Like I said, I don't know you well. If you receive my call or my name, if you'll introduce yourself, it'd be my pleasure to get to meet some of you. On to you, John, K1VBC. This is WN4PFI. I'll be clear, but I'll be listening.
Yeah, very good, Doug. WN4PFI, K1VVC. Well, I hope I'll run across you on your way there next week. Probably, at least outdoors, it's not going to be very good weather in the morning for standing around and chatting. It's supposed to be like 16, 17 degrees and only getting up to the 40s, but it's supposed to be a sunny day. And I'm not sure that they're going to get the same kind of snow that you're getting. But, you know, the only weather that a meteorologist can tell you with absolute certainty is yesterday's weather. So we'll just have to wait and see. But usually the highway going up is pretty good, so not too bad. Everybody's sounding great. Cliff, your BC610 really sounds good. You're the strongest signal here today. And I want to see the amplifier you're going to use with that BC610 to drive the amplifier. Get it converted to 11 meters. Anyhow, I'll gonna sign out also. Gonna shift it over to you, Charlie. And hope you're out. Just you don't get too much snow. W4MEC K1VVC.
K1VVC and the old friends, W4MEC, real good. I see my granddaughter has returned home and turned on the plasma TV, but everybody's signal smushes it out of the spectrum. Let's see, yes, BC610 sounds absolutely fantastic, Cliff. Someone said broadcast audio, and that's exactly what it's got. And Doak, you were with that Ranger your first time around. You were like QSB S3 to S5, and I wanted to comment. I forgot, but apparently, if you've made any improvements to the audio, they were good. But if you didn't, a lot of folks think they need to improve the audio and make it more bassy. But yours has got the punch through, and even at S3, you were 100%. Solid copy with your audio. Now your second go around you were S8, so you were coming up as the afternoon went on. So anywho, and yep, that carbon mic does sound good, Mir. That's about it for me, and I might try an unamplified D104 on this thing next week, or it's really hammering the modulation there. So we will look for everybody on Tuesday morning, and hopefully it will be a nice day and not a snowstorm. 7-3 for now, and y'all have a good rest of the evening. N4LQ in the group, W4MEC.